Immerse yourself into the world of Creepy Man. He's waiting for you.
My name is Joe, and I'm 35 years old. I'm just an ordinary guy who never believed much in the supernatural until this happened. What I'm about to share with you isn't just a story, it's something that changed my life forever. You see, it's one thing to hear about haunted houses and ghostly encounters, but it's a whole different experience when you live through it yourself. This experience left a mark on me that I'll carry for the rest of my life. It made me question everything I thought I knew, and it still sends chills down my spine every time I think about it. My brother and I had always been close, so when he decided to follow me to Georgia after I moved from California, I was more than happy to help him settle in. David found this old house built back in the 1800s on the outskirts of a small town. It looked charming from the outside, the kind of place where you'd expect to raise a family. But the moment I stepped inside, I felt an icy chill run down my spine. The air was thick, almost suffocating, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. I helped David with the move despite my unease. As I carried boxes into one of the bedrooms, I heard something that made me freeze in my tracks, heated whispering, like an argument between two people.
Why did you hurt them?
The voices seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once, hovering near the ceiling. My heart pounded in my chest as I strained to make sense of what I was hearing. I noticed the wallpaper in one of the hallways. It was old and peeling, revealing strange handwritten words beneath the cracks. As I leaned closer to examine them, the ink seemed to shimmer, as if freshly written. Then I heard it. Scratching sounds, faint but deliberate, like a quill scratching on parchment. The words beneath the wallpaper began shifting, rearranging themselves into sentences. "Leave now. She watches." I stumbled back, heart racing. I bolted from the room and confronted David, asking if he had noticed anything strange. He admitted that he felt uneasy too, but tried to brush it off.
"The house is just old,"
he said.
"Nothing to worry about."
But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching us, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. One evening, while David and I sat in the living room, the faint clinking of cutlery echoed from the empty dining room. At first, we thought it was Emily playing, but when we entered the room, the table was set, plates, glasses, and a decanter of wine that hadn't been there before. Dust covered everything as if it had been untouched for decades, but faint fingerprints streaked across the plates. And in the wine glass was a thick, black liquid that dripped onto the floor, vanishing before it hit the ground. Days passed, and I kept my distance from the house, only stopping by to check on David occasionally. But the unease never left me. Then one day, something happened that neither of us could ignore. David's young daughter, Emily, began talking about an old lady who lived in the house. She described her in detail, from her old-fashioned dress to her kind smile. But there was one problem. There was no old lady living there. The next day, Emily handed me a drawing she had made of the house. It was detailed for a 4-year-old, showing every window and door. At first, I thought it was charming until I noticed one detail: an old woman standing at the second-floor window. Her face was a dark smudge, and around her were jagged black marks like claws tearing through the paper.
"She lives there,"
Emily said casually.
"but she doesn't like visitors."
At first, we thought it was just a child's imagination, but then things took a darker turn. One afternoon, Emily disappeared. We searched the house in a panic, only to find her calmly walking down a busy road outside. Her small hand was raised as if she was holding someone's hand, but she was alone. When we asked her what she was doing, she simply said,
"I was walking with the old lady."
Emily's story sent chills down our spines. She described how the old lady had opened the heavy front door, led her outside, and they'd even stopped to pet a dog before heading down the road. The door was far too heavy for a 4-year-old to open on her own, but Emily insisted that the old lady had helped her. Her innocence was terrifying. She believed every word she said. David tried to rationalize what had happened, but the fear in his eyes was undeniable. The atmosphere in the house grew more oppressive by the day. Whispers became more frequent, shadows seemed to move on their own, and the once charming home now felt like a prison. Emily's interactions with the old lady became more frequent, and each time she spoke of her with an eerie fondness. One night, we heard Emily's laughter echoing from her room. When we entered, she wasn't alone. She sat cross-legged in front of a mirror, talking to her reflection. But her reflection wasn't mirroring her movements. Instead, it pressed its hands against the glass as if trying to escape.
She's teaching me how to come through,
Emily said with a smile. The breaking point came when I visited the house one last time. As soon as I stepped inside, I was overwhelmed by the feeling of being watched. The air was thick with tension, and I could feel a cold presence following me from room to room. Then, in the corner of my eye, I saw her, a figure in an old-fashioned dress, standing in the shadows. But when I turned to face her, she was gone. That night, David made the decision to leave. We packed up their belongings as quickly as possible, not daring to look back at the house that had once seemed so welcoming. The thought of Emily's innocent words haunted us both.
The old lady opened the door.
We knew we had to get out before something worse happened. We never spoke of the old lady again, but the memory of that house still lingers, a reminder that some places are better left alone. Just as we finished loading the last of the bags into the cab, I couldn't resist the urge to look back at the house one more time. There, in the window on the first floor, I saw her, the old lady. Her ghostly face twisted in anger, glaring down at us. Her eyes locked onto mine, filled with a fury that sent a cold wave of terror through me. I quickly turned away, my heart racing as we drove off, leaving the house and its haunting secrets behind. Even after they moved, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed them, a lingering presence that refused to let go. I still get chills thinking about it, the whispers, the shadows, and the old lady who had taken Emily for a walk. I've come to realize that some things can't be explained, and that house, well, it's a place I'll never go back to. Some stories are too real to forget. And that's the story of the house that refused to let go, a place where the past clings to the present, where the echoes of those long gone still walk among the living. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if the next house you move into holds secrets of its own? Or perhaps someone already waiting inside? And here's a thought. If you've had a paranormal experience or know of a spine-chilling story, we'd love to hear it. Send in your stories and who knows, your encounter might just be the next one we bring to life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to bring you more exciting content. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and keep your eyes open. You never know what might be waiting in the dark. See you in the next video. Bye.